Hi guys, and welcome on Cheaters and Jerks. This channel is about real-life cheating stories and consequences.
I watched Zeus pace, growling low. His devotion to Olivia warred with his obvious unease over Zeus. It was all too clear now. Her voice snapped like a whip. "No, Apollo, wait your turn." Holy. It felt like a punch to the chest. This was just beginning of the real horror, but let's start from the beginning, right after your subscription to this channel. I pulled into our driveway, the garage door rumbling open as I hit the clicker. Another day at the office done, and I couldn't wait to see my little family. As I stepped out of the car, I could already hear the excited barks from inside. "Honey, I'm home," I called out, my voice dripping with exaggerated enthusiasm. "Your dashing husband has returned from his perilous journey through rush hour traffic." Olivia's laugh echoed from the kitchen. "Oh, thank goodness. I was about to send out a search party." I rounded the corner to find her chopping vegetables for dinner, looking as beautiful as ever in her flour-dusted apron. Zeus and Apollo were practically vibrating with excitement at my feet. "Well, hello there, you two oversized puppies," I grinned, crouching down to give them each a good ear scratch. "Did you keep your mom out of trouble while I was gone?" Zeus let out a low boof, as if to say, "Of course," while Apollo just wiggled his entire body, tail wagging a mile a minute. Olivia set down her knife and came over to give me a kiss. "How was work, babe?" "Oh, you know," I shrugged. "Saved the company, solved world hunger, the usual Tuesday stuff." She rolled her eyes, but I caught the smile she was trying to hide. "Well, Mr. Superhero, think you can handle walking the children while I finish up dinner?" "I don't know," I pretended to consider. "That sounds like a job for someone with real superpowers, but I suppose I could give it a shot." I grabbed the leashes from their hook by the door, jangling them enticingly. "Who wants to go for a WALK?" The reaction was instantaneous. Zeus, usually so dignified, pranced in place while Apollo practically did backflips. All right, I laughed. "Let's go before you two burst from excitement." As we headed out the front door, I called back to Olivia, "Taking the big babies out. Try not to miss us too much." The evening air was crisp, carrying the first hints of fall. We set off down our quiet suburban street, the dogs trotting happily at my side. Zeus walked with his usual regal air, while Apollo zigzagged back and forth, investigating every interesting smell. I breathed in deeply, feeling the stress of the workday melt away. This was my favorite part of the day. Just me, my boys, and the open sidewalk. As we rounded the corner, I couldn't help but smile. Life might not be perfect, but moments like these, they came pretty damn close. Unfortunately, I didn't suspect the tragedy that was coming to me. A few months later, I stepped through the front door, my arms laden with takeout bags and my briefcase. The weight of a long day at the office lifts as I anticipate the usual chaos of our home. Zeus and Apollo bounding towards me, tails wagging, while Olivia's warm smile greets me from the kitchen. But tonight, something's off. The silence hits me first. It's oppressive, unnatural, like the whole house is holding its breath. My stomach tightens as I call out, "Olivia, boys?" No response. I'm about to step further in when a shape emerges from the shadows of the hallway. It's Zeus, but something's wrong. As he moves into the light, my breath catches in my throat. His muzzle is covered in blood, dark droplets falling from his powerful jaws onto the hardwood floor. "Jesus Christ," I whisper, the takeout bag slipping from my grasp. Chinese food spills across the floor, but I barely notice. My eyes are fixed on Zeus, my mind struggling to process what I'm seeing. Zeus pants heavily, his sides heaving. It's then I notice the wounds on him, angry scratches across his flank, deep punctures along his foreleg. Despite it all, his tail gives a faint wag as he looks up at me. "Zeus, what happened?" My voice comes out strangled, barely above a whisper. "Where's Olivia? Where's Apollo?" As if in answer, I notice the trail of bloody paw prints leading deeper into the house. My heart hammers against my ribs as I follow them, each step feeling like I'm wading through molasses. "Olivia?" I shout, my voice cracking with panic. "Olivia, where are you?" The house remains eerily quiet. I reach the bedroom door, my hand trembling as I push it open. Nothing could have prepared me for what I find inside. The scene hits me like a physical blow. Olivia lies on our bed, her throat. Oh God, her throat. It's torn open, blood soaking into the mattress beneath her. Her eyes, usually so full of life, stare blankly at the ceiling. The terror frozen on her face makes my knees buckle. I stumble backward, colliding with the doorframe. That's when I see Apollo. Our younger dog lies crumpled on the floor, his body ravaged by savage wounds. His neck is... I can't even look at it. The unnatural angle makes my stomach lurch. The entire room is a nightmare come to life. Blood streaks the walls, the sheets are tangled and soaked crimson. The stench of iron and sweat is so thick I can taste it. In the midst of this horror, something catches my eye. A tripod-mounted camera stands in the corner, its red light blinking steadily. The sight of it, so out of place in this chaos, sends a chill down my spine. I stumble out of the room, bile rising in my throat. My hands shake violently as I fumble for my phone, nearly dropping it twice before I manage to dial 911. The operator's calm voice feels surreal against the backdrop of what I've just witnessed. 911, what's your emergency? Blood, I choke out, my voice barely recognizable. There's blood everywhere. My wife, she's dead. My dog too. Oh God, there's so much blood. Sir, I need you to take a deep breath, the operator says. Can you tell me your address? I rattle off our address, the words tumbling out between ragged breaths. All right, I've dispatched officers and paramedics to your location, she tells me. I need you to stay on the line with me. Are you in a safe place? Safe? The word seems absurd. How can anywhere be safe after what I've seen? I think so. I'm in the living room. Good. Is there anyone else in the house with you? My eyes dart to Zeus, who's followed me silently down the stairs. His bloodied muzzle is a chilling reminder of the horror upstairs. Just my other dog, Zeus. All right. I want you to stay where you are. Don't touch anything. The police will be there shortly. I nod, forgetting she can't see me. Okay, I manage to croak out. As I wait, pacing the living room, my mind races. What happened here? How could this have happened? Zeus has always been protective. But this is unthinkable. I look at Zeus, searching for some explanation in his amber eyes. He looks back at me, tail giving another faint wag. Was he a victim in all this too? Or... I can't bring myself to finish the thought. The air felt thick and overwhelming. I couldn't even sit down. I just paced back and forth in the living room, my legs moving on autopilot. Zeus was lying near the couch, his bloody fur smeared into the carpet, panting softly like nothing had happened. My breath hitched every time I glanced at him. I didn't know if I should feel anger, despair, or... God, I didn't even want to think about it. I clenched my fists until my nails dug into my palms. Every sound was amplified. The ticking clock on the wall, the distant hum of neighborhood traffic, the low growling noise Zeus made when he repositioned himself. But above it all, the faint glow of Olivia's laptop burned in the corner of my vision. It sat there on the dresser, untouched, almost smug in its quiet presence. My eyes locked onto the screen. That innocuous little folder, private, was bold and staring right back at me. It was practically daring me. A war was waging in my head. Was it wrong? Would wrong even register anymore after everything? But before I could make a move, distant sirens pulled me out of my spiral. Relief, dread, and even guilt flooded in all at once. Someone else would handle this now. Someone would make sense of this. The flashing lights spilled through the windows as I heard car doors slamming. Boots crunching against the gravel driveway sounded like gunshots to my overstimulated brain. I stumbled to the door, barely able to remember how to unlock it. When I opened it, 2 officers stood there, already assessing me with those calculating eyes you see in movies. One younger, one older, both stiff and deliberate. I felt like I was on trial before anyone even said a word. They're inside, my voice cracked. The bodies, my wife and Apollo. For a moment, I couldn't believe the words coming out of my own mouth. It sounded like someone else had said it. The older officer's expression tightened, but never faltered. Let's take this slow. Stay here for now. We'll need to see the scene. No, I stopped myself, my voice shaky. I'll show you. I led them through the house, the blood smudges on the hardwood floor guiding the way like arrows of tragedy. From the corner of my eye, I saw Zeus rise slowly, his muscles tense. He made no move toward the officers, just watched them with those amber eyes, unnervingly calm. The cops noticed, stiffening for a second, but then followed closely. I heard one of them mutter quietly into his radio, but I didn't catch what he said. The bedroom hit them like a punch to the gut. Even their professional masks slipped for a brief second, an intake of breath, a glance exchanged, but they recovered quickly. The grim reality in front of them would soon be part of an endless string of horrors in their careers, filed away and forgotten. "Oh, God," one officer muttered in a near whisper. I glanced at Olivia, the way her body lay twisted on the bed, her throat a mangled, unrecognizable mess. Apollo's lifeless form was crumpled on the floor, his fawn-colored fur torn and stained dark. I had to look away, every fiber of me rebelling against the things right in front of me. My stomach churned, and I thought I might vomit right there. Back out into the living room, the older officer instructed me after a tense moment. His tone was steady but firm. "We'll process this." I nodded and forced my legs to move, stumbling backward. But before I fully left, a flash of thought slipped out. "There's a camera in here, on the shelf," I blurted. My voice cracked like it didn't belong to me. One of them turned toward me sharply. He nodded, a silent acknowledgement, and let me leave the room. I collapsed onto the chair in the living room, my legs feeling like unsteady stilts. Zeus watched me from the floor, still motionless. He hadn't barked once, hadn't snarled or lunged, nothing. It was like he was waiting for someone to say something definitive, to decide what role he played in the carnage. I forced myself to focus on the muffled sounds coming from the bedroom. I could hear them reviewing the footage now, catching disjointed phrases and the rising edge in their voices. She's with the dog." A pang shot through me. I shifted uncomfortably, my heart racing. More murmurs. I couldn't make it all out, but whatever they were saying sounded strained. It escalates from there. One of them walked out into the hallway briefly and made eye contact with me. His expression was hollow and very, very serious. The younger officer stood in front of me. His hand hovered awkwardly near his belt, like he was unsure if he should reach for his weapon or his notepad. "Sit tight," he said, though his voice didn't hold any authority. I wasn't even conscious of getting up this time. One moment I was in the chair, and the next I was sitting in front of the glowing screen, my fingers hovering just shy of the trackpad. The folder stared at me like it had been the entire time. My gut twisted, warning me, practically begging me not to do it. But my fingers were already moving. Inside were videos. Too many. Dates lined up in neat rows on the files, stretching back months, maybe longer. The titles weren't even coded or vague. They just were. I clicked the first one. My hand trembled against the mouse as if my own body was resisting me. It started innocently enough, or maybe my brain wanted it to seem that way. Olivia sat on the edge of the bed, Zeus next to her, tail wagging faintly. But the energy was wrong, off-kilter in a way I couldn't ignore. Her voice dropped, coaxing him closer, giving commands I couldn't quite process. It spiraled from there. Something feral erupted in my chest, a mingling of rage, disgust, disbelief. I skipped ahead, hoping the next timestamp might be, God, anything else. But each file tore down another layer of my denial. Zeus, obedient as ever, doing what he was told. Apollo in the background, pacing, increasingly agitated. Every new video felt like a dagger twisting. The room seemed to close in around me. The dim light felt brighter and harsher, like a spotlight burning into my skull. And then I clicked the latest video. The camera angled down toward the bed, shaky, but deliberate. Olivia's voice was almost playful as she patted the mattress, beckoning Zeus up. Apollo soon entered the frame, tail rigid, body language screaming tension. I watched him pace, growling low. His devotion to Olivia warred with his obvious unease over Zeus. It was all too clear now. Her voice snapped like a whip. "No, Apollo, wait your turn." Holy! It felt like a punch to the chest. Apollo lunged after that. Weeks, maybe months of suppressed frustration burst out of him, and he collided with Zeus, a blur of damnation. The sound of the fight burned into my ears. Yelps, growls, the slap of bodies hitting furniture. Olivia's high-pitched scream rose above it all. Zeus won the moment he decided to. His teeth ripped into Apollo with brutal, calculated authority. And then Olivia, Jesus Christ, Olivia, she tried to stop him. Every cell in my body wanted to look away, but I couldn't. Zeus turned. The rage on his face was one I'd never seen before, primal and terrifying. His mouth clamped around her throat, and everything after that blurred together. Blood poured like a river. I couldn't stop seeing even when I blinked. The last frame was Zeus, standing amid the massacre. His chest heaved, nostrils flared, a king atop a mountain of horrors. The playback paused on his face, the same face staring at me from across the living room. I watch as the animal control officer approaches Zeus, my heart feeling like it's being torn apart. Zeus, still covered in blood, sits there calmly, his tail wagging slightly. It's like he doesn't even realize what he's done. I can't help but feel a surge of anger, mixed with an overwhelming sadness. "Easy boy," the officer says softly, securing the lead around Zeus's neck. I want to look away, but I can't. This is Zeus, my buddy, my protector. Now he's being led away like a criminal. And the worst part? I can't even blame him entirely. As they walk Zeus to the van, he looks back at me. Those big amber eyes, once full of love and loyalty, now seem alien to me. I try to muster some kind of emotion, anger, hatred, anything. But all I feel is a numbing emptiness. The slam of the van door echoes through the quiet street. Just like that, Zeus is gone. The last living piece of my family, taken away. I trudge back into the house. The silence is deafening. No clicking of dog nails on the hardwood. No Olivia humming in the kitchen. Just nothing. I collapse onto the couch, my eyes drawn to Olivia's laptop still sitting on the coffee table. The screen glows faintly, a silent testament to the horror it revealed. I can't stop my mind from replaying those videos. Olivia's face, twisted in a way I'd never seen before as she tormented Zeus. The sound of her laughter as she manipulated our dogs against each other. Every happy memory I had with Olivia now feels tainted. That time we adopted Zeus from the shelter, was she already planning this sick game? Our wedding day? Was it all just a facade? I grab a throw pillow and press it against my face, letting out a muffled scream. It does nothing to relieve the pressure building in my chest. I feel like I'm suffocating under the weight of betrayal and loss. I stare at the blank TV screen, my reflection a ghostly apparition I barely recognize. It's been days since everything fell apart. The house feels like a tomb, every corner haunting me with memories I can't escape. A knock at the door startles me. I consider ignoring it, but curiosity wins out. It's my neighbor, Mrs. Caldwell, holding a casserole dish. "Jason, dear," she says, her voice dripping with fake sympathy. "I thought you might need some food." I force a weak smile. "Thanks, Mrs. Caldwell. I appreciate it." She peers past me into the house. "How are you holding up? Such a tragedy. I can't imagine what you're going through." I can see the hunger for gossip in her eyes. "I'm managing," I lie. "Thanks again for the food." I close the door before she can pry further. The casserole joins a growing pile of untouched sympathy meals in the fridge. My phone buzzes, another reporter wanting a statement. I ignore it, tossing the device onto the couch. That's when I notice the TV remote. Without thinking, I turn it on. In a shocking case of animal abuse and domestic violence, a news anchor drones. My stomach drops as I see my house on the screen. Local man Jason Miller discovered his wife, Olivia, had been secretly abusing their dogs. I fumble for the remote, desperate to make it stop, but my trembling fingers can't find the power button. Sources close to the investigation say Mrs. Miller had been manipulating the animals for months, possibly years. Experts are calling it one of the most disturbing cases of... The TV goes dark. I've ripped the plug from the wall, chest heaving. But the damage is done. They're talking about us, about me, about Olivia, our private hell broadcast for the world's entertainment. I stumble to the bathroom, retching into the toilet. When there's nothing left, I slump against the cold tile, my forehead pressed to the porcelain. How did I not see it? How could I have been so blind? Days blur together. I barely eat, barely sleep. The house feels like it's closing in on me. Everywhere I look, there are reminders of the life I thought I had. Photos of Olivia and me, smiling and oblivious. Dog toys scattered in corners. It's all a lie. I venture out for groceries, keeping my head down. But I can feel the stares, hear the whispers. That's him. Poor guy, imagine not knowing. Maybe he was in on it. The last comment cuts deep. I abandon my cart, fleeing the store. Back home, I slam the door, sliding down to the floor. Tears I thought had run dry start flowing again. That's when I see it. Olivia's laptop, still sitting on the coffee table where the police left it after copying the files. The source of all this pain and betrayal. Something in me snaps. I grab the computer, storming into the backyard. Our wedding album catches my eye. I snatch it up too. Soon, I'm tearing through the house, gathering every reminder of Olivia I can find. Clothes, photos, trinkets. All of it goes into a heap on the patio. Gasoline. We kept a can in the garage for the lawnmower. I douse the pile, my hands shaking. The fumes make my eyes water, but I don't care. A match flares to life between my fingers. I stare at it for a moment, then let it fall. The flames roar to life, hungry and vicious. I stumble back, watching as our life together turns to ash. The heat sears my face, but I can't look away. Photos curl and blacken. Fabric melts. Memories disintegrate. I stand there until long after the fire dies down, leaving nothing but smoldering embers and charred remnants. The acrid smoke stings my throat, but I feel nothing. Just a vast, echoing emptiness where my heart used to be. That night, I make my decision. This house, this town, I can't stay here. Every street corner holds a memory. Every neighbor's glance feels like an accusation. I contact a realtor the next day. She tries to hide her excitement at the prospect of selling such a notorious property, but I can see the dollar signs in her eyes. I don't care. I just want out. It takes a few weeks to sort everything out. I donate most of what's left to charity. The rest fits in my car. I've found a cabin rental up north, deep in the woods. No neighbors, no cell service, just isolation. As I pull out of the driveway for the last time, I catch Mrs. Caldwell watching from her porch. I give her a small wave, then floor it. In my rearview mirror, I watch my old life shrink and disappear. The drive is long, but I barely notice. My mind is a fog of bitter thoughts and unanswerable questions. How could Olivia have done this? How did I miss the signs? What was real and what was just another lie? The cabin is exactly what I need. Rustic, remote, and devoid of any happy memories to haunt me. I unload my meager possessions and crack open the first of many bottles of whiskey I brought. Days pass in a haze. I wake up, drink, stare at the walls, drink some more, pass out, rinse and repeat. Sometimes I venture out onto the small porch, looking out at the endless trees. But even nature feels tainted now. One night, stumbling back from taking a piss in the woods, I trip over a root. As I lay there, face in the dirt, a bitter laugh escapes me. "Real smooth, Jason," I mutter. "Suave as ever. This is what you've been reduced to, huh? Pissing in the woods and talking to yourself?" I roll onto my back, staring up at the stars peeking through the canopy. They used to fill me with wonder. Now they just look cold and distant. "You know what the worst part is?" I continue, my words slurring. "I still love her. Isn't that ducked up? After everything she did, everything she hid from me, part of me still misses her." I laugh again, but it comes out as more of a sob. What the hell is wrong with me? How can I miss someone who never really existed? The trees offer no answers, just the whisper of wind through leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. I close my eyes, letting the cool earth press against my back. "I don't know how to trust anyone ever again," I whisper to the night. "How do you come back from something like this?" But there's no coming back. Not really. The Jason who believed in love, in family, in happily ever after. That man died in that blood-soaked bedroom. What's left is just a hollow shell, going through the motions of existing. I drag myself back to the cabin, collapsing onto the lumpy mattress. As consciousness fades, I have one last bitter thought. This is my life now, alone, drunk, and talking to the ducking trees. Hey everyone, if you found this story gripping and want more jaw-dropping tales, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you're always in the loop. So you're always in the loop. So you're always in the loop. So you're always